Ty idź sam. Wrócisz po mnie. No, sorry, spotkamy się gdzieś.
You're going down.
You take a deep breath. Good news for you. The exit will be from this way. You won't have to climb up. The only one that has is me. But the exit for you will be on the street level. So right now we are in the underground of a hill. We are in the underground of Mount Akia, also called Mount of God, Monte di Dio. That's why here you can see this little drawing. There's a mountain with a cross, Mount of God. So you're inside artificial caves. Everything here was dug by men for the extraction of tuffo is this volcanic stone that surrounds us. It was generated from an eruption of Campi Flegrei 15,000 years ago. And this important volcanic material has always been used here in Naples to build the city on the surface. Since the 7th, 6th century BC, Greeks started extracting tuff here in the area, and then they just left empty spaces, caves in the underground. The funny thing is, as the city enlarged on the surface, so did these spaces in the underground, and with time we actually made an underground city. So we're talking about 15 kilometers squares of emptinesses underneath Naples. These caves right here date back to the 1600, to the 1500, to the 16th century. All the tuff that is missing here around us, all the tuffo, is actually found right now, right above our heads. It makes up the neighborhood of Monte di Dio. But this one space was also used for something else. The majority of caves, with time, during the Roman time, they were modified and used as water tanks.
As what, sorry?
Water tanks system. So the caves were modified to obtain pools of water, pools that would contain water. You can see here the border of this huge pool, and you have to picture that the water tank here was actually 5 meters deeper than what it looks like today, and it also had tunnels. The tunnels were meant to link together all the spaces and were meant to work just like pipes. The aqueduct was used in Naples until the 19th century, then it was abandoned, it was left, and it was rediscovered only during the Second World War. The army told to modify these underground areas and to turn them into shelters. That's why today you cannot see the water tank anymore. It's all completely filled with water. The wells for the extraction of water were closed. The tunnels were enlarged to allow more people to walk through them. So we're gonna see all the modification that the army did down here just in a while, because we're about to move. Just please, as we move, always follow me, always stick close to me, okay? Be careful, watch your head, watch your feet, okay? We'll start from this way.
Yeah.
So these spaces are so wide and so large because they were actually caves for the extraction of stuff. As you saw, moving here, sorry, which is this place? There are actually toilets here because these were spaces were used as shelters too. We can see how the modification made dynamic here. The toilets are the first thing, and they were built above the water tanks. For the main reason was that the toilets down here could not be linked to the sewage system. The pipes were found above the caves. So the army was forced to find a different solution to get rid of human waste. For this reason, the toilets were built above empty water tanks. The water tanks were big enough to collect the liquids. They were made of tuff. Tuff is a porous stone. So they were open and only the liquids would be slowly absorbed by the water tanks. They were not wrong, but the key word here is slowly. There were lots of people, and most of the times the process of absorption was way too slow. So the air down here was unbreathable. The stink was so strong that even children, even people that nobody told us during the war, but when they were interviewed years and years later, the only thing they could really remember was how wild it stopped down here. And you can notice another thing, all the walls around you are actually white. Tuff is not white. It's actually brownish or yellowish in color. Today here is white due to the white lime that was used. White lime was used to sanitize the place, and it could also help with red light better. It was useful because there was an emergency system, an emergency electrical system down here, and here it is. You can see some pieces of it. These are ceramic isolators and these are copper wires. But this system had the intensity of only 12 volts. The intensity of Christmas lights, so people could barely see anything down here. This space was not only meant for shelters, it was also used as an infirmary. People were not just resting here, but for the majority of the time there were nurses taking care of injured people. Hi.
Hi.
My name is Rosa. Just you?
One more.
Okay. The toilets and the infirmary were right here because they had to be as close as possible to the entrances. And the stairs, which you entered with, were actually an entrance for the shelter. There could be dangers for people. Most of them were running, rushing, trying to reach safety as soon as possible, so they would get badly injured. That's why they needed a first aid as soon as possible. We found here stretchers, we found bottles of medicine, we found also boxes of syringes, glass syringe. The glass syringe could be very painful for people. You got a needle that was often not sharpened. But the main problem here was that this syringe had to be sterilized before its use. This meant this syringe had to be boiled in water for at least 15 minutes. But down here there was not enough time, not enough water, so most of the times the same syringe, even with a previous sterilization, was actually used again on different people. This syringe was actually meant to treat illnesses more than a way to cure them. Still, despite the horrible conditions which people were forced to live in, Neapolitans were very grateful for the existence of these underground spaces. They were the only spaces available to be turned into shelters to quick. The army arrived down here in 1940s. The first few bombings were in 1941, so they had to be quick. They just had to use anything There are actually 217 shelters here around Naples. But Naples was one of the most bombed cities in the Second World War in Italy. There were 200 bombings on the whole city. The city, especially after 1942, was completely destroyed. People were forced to live inside the shelters most of the times, even if they were in the underground, even if the spaces were very humid, even if there was barely enough space for everybody. Do you have questions, especially those provided later? Is everything clear?
Yeah.
We'll be seeing some kind of tests.
Eravamo bene. No.
So, these pictures are from a kind of collection. Our co-founder, Martin, from the Los Angeles. They were all taken by American soldiers in the last few years of war. So you can see they all dated Naples 1944, for the exception of this one, 1946. Actually, there are 3 from them here. The war ended in 1945. Still, you can see in these pictures the people are still living inside the shelters even 1 year later. Their reason is really simple. The post was completely destroyed. So whoever was left the place to stay in, they simply used the shelters as much as they could. The people left the shelters only after the 50s, only a few years later. And the city was rebuilt on the next commercial plan that year. The strange thing is, you see, the shelters were very important to people. The spaces were like the only thing that had actually saved them. But then they were used as a garbage disposal after those years. The Neapolitans were forced to do this. They needed to make space on the surface. There were way too many destroyed buildings, so all the debris were just thrown down here thanks to open wells. Garbage kept collecting for years and years, and well, even just 20 years ago, the spaces were still garbage disposal in the underground. The reason why you're here today and you're able to visit this underground space is because our president, Gianluca Minini, a geologist, came down here. He fell in love with the place, he understood its importance, and so he decided to clean up everything. But he did everything on his own. He just had the help of other volunteers and co-founders. It took him almost 5 years. He came down here in 2005. And just in 2010, he was able to start to appear. He has actually founded our association in 2009. We are the Bourbon Tunnel.